7 things that I wish people told me as a teenager. So I'm over here listening to Mac Miller Kids, and I realized that this mixtape released in 2010. So while I was on the verge to go to high school, and it feels like just yesterday. So here are 7 things that I wish that people told me as a teenager that I had to learn later on in my teenage years and even now as an early adult, that I wish these people just would have told me, you know what I mean? And it would have just made everything so much easier. And honestly, I probably would have been way further than where I am right now. But, you know, everything is meant to happen when it's meant to happen. So the first thing, life comes at you fast. So what sparked this video is the main reason why I say life comes at you fast. Like you're in 7th grade, you're in 8th grade, you're 13, 14, 15. Before you know it, you're graduating high school. And now you're trying to figure out, am I going to college? Am I going to the military? Am I going to learn a trade? And there's just so many different opportunities. There's so many different options, and there's so many different paths that you can travel. And it's like life comes at you fast. So it's like, if you really just take a moment to just be in the moment and really make the most of it, that's one of the biggest things that I wish people would have told me growing up as a teenager. Like, life comes at you fast, so take advantage and capitalize on as much stuff as you can now before that time is gone. You know what I mean? 2, don't be afraid to stand out. You know, like for me, I always had a certain charisma to myself. I always had a certain type of energy. I was always confident, but I wasn't confident enough to bring out my true personality at times. And when I say true personality, I'm not talking about like the goofiness. I'm talking about just how intellectual I was. And I was a very spiritual person, and I was always into like, you know, meditation, and I always had curiosities about it, but I never really explored it because I was too afraid to stand out, because at the time, meditation and reading and stuff, that just wasn't cool. You know what I mean? So I wish that if I would have been taught earlier on, or things would have been, you know, said to me like, hey, stand out, and that would have been the norm, then I feel like a lot of the decisions that I make now and a lot of the ways that I think, I feel like it would have been much different, you know, and I would have been in a better, not better place at all, but I would say I would be in a different position, and a lot of the mistakes that I made earlier on would have been avoided if I would have just learned, okay, it's okay to stand out, and it's okay to be you as an individual. That's the second thing. 3rd thing, take school and anything you attach to your name seriously, right? So not just school, you know, anything that you're attached to, whether it be any type of sports, whether it be any type of extra hobbies that you do, music, art, anything that you do as a child, or anything that you do as an early teenager. If you learn to take it serious and you learn to make the most out of whatever you're doing, it'll only help you in the future, because now your work ethic is going to be so advanced and you're going to be so developed because you were always taking things serious. You know, if you're 13 years old right now watching this video, or if you're 15, 18 and under, like, this is your perfect opportunity for you to really take everything that you're doing, take it serious, and really create and develop your work ethic. So when it gets time for you to graduate and go about your life, you're already established, you're squared away, because you already took things serious. Like, you already knew anything I put my name on or anything that my hands touch, I'm going to take serious. You know what I mean? And there's no stopping me. Like, literally, anything I do, I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to make sure that I leave my mark on whatever that project or whatever that thing may be. Aim to please your loved ones and not your peers. This is a very, very big one, right? So when we're, middle school, elementary school, high school, and if, like I said, if you're under the age of 18, you're probably dealing with this right now. A lot of the times you get peer pressured to do certain things, whether it be, skipping class or whatever the case is, the list goes on. We're so eager to be one with our friends that we forget and we negate the fact that we have parents and we have loved ones that actually care about our future. We have people that we're letting down in the same motion, in the same breath of us being able to please our friends. And you realize that after you graduate high school, that it wasn't that serious. It wasn't that important. And a lot of the stuff that we did, we compromise our values and we compromise our character just so we can either fit in or just so we can get some kudo points and cool points. But none of that stuff matters, because after you graduate, most of the time, 90% of the people that you hang with, you're not even going to be in communication with these people anymore. So it's just one of those things where it's, prioritize family, prioritize loved ones, prioritize people, your close friends, the ones that really want the best for you, because those are the ones that's going to matter 5, 10, 15 years from now. Don't underestimate yourself. Whether it be AAP classes, whether it be you trying to go for sports, soccer, basketball, track and field, whether it just be, you trying to, get a job and feeling like you can't balance out working and going to school at the same time. That's not the case. Don't underestimate yourself. If you're 15, 14 years old, it doesn't matter what your age is. If you're 9, 10 and you're watching this video, do not underestimate yourself, because the thing about just life is that there's going to be so many tests, so many challenges, so many things that you have to face on a day-to-day basis, even as a teenager, as a young adult. But you're going to realize, like, man, I overcame that and it made me stronger, and it made me more resilient to a lot of the stuff that you deal with. Because once you graduate and once you out into adulthood, it's so much different. It's so much different, because instead of you just having to worry about school and sports, you have to worry about school, you have to worry about hobbies, you have to worry about bills, you have to worry about, okay, how am I going to take myself to the next level so for me to get a pay raise? There's so much stuff. So don't underestimate yourself. If you have something that you want to do, make sure that you try your best and you do it, and just manage your time effectively so that you can get everything that you want to get done as a young adult completed. You know what I mean? There's literally nothing stopping you. There's nothing in your way except for you and those mental restraints that you place upon yourself. So you got to make sure that you lock in and you go do whatever you want to do. Be great in whatever field that you want to be great in. You know what I mean? There's no stopping you, no barriers. Don't compare yourself. So this is the second to last thing. Comparing yourself will literally, eat at you. You know what I mean? Whether it be you compare yourself on social media, whether it be you compare yourself to other kids that may dress, may have the certain clothes that you want, but you just don't have them yet. Comparing yourself in a sense of, this person is a little bit more, he's faster than me, stronger than me, whatever the case is, because you never know what the other variables are that you just can't see with your eye, with the naked eye. So just because somebody may be more financially blessed or in a better financial situation than your family is at the moment, because you got to think, as a kid, you don't really control what you wear. You don't really control, your financial situation. You just can't control that. You can't control your height. You can't control certain muscle deficiencies. You can't control that. So at the end of the day, the more you compare yourself, the more you're going to continue to eat at yourself, and the more unhappy that you're going to be. But the moment that you take a step back and you say, like, I'm perfectly fine where I'm at. I'm perfectly fine that, my mom may not have the best money. My mom may not have the most money and may not have all the things that Tom may have, or Cynthia, whatever, you know what I mean? Just be able to be in the moment. Don't compare yourself, because there's going to come a point in time to where everything that you don't have and everything that you wish you have now, you're going to have in the future, because you're going to work for it and you're going to be able to give that to your kids. So don't be mad at your parents because they can't give you those $500 sneakers, and don't be mad at, certain people because they may judge you for certain things. You know what I mean? Shame on them. Shame on those people for them trying to talk down on you. Shame on them people for trying to make you feel inferior and feel alienated. You live within your means, and at the end of the day, you don't have much control when you're a kid. You can only control but so much. The things that you can control, you got to make sure that you go above and beyond. Your academics, how you're acting in class, how all those type of things, and how you treat your friends, and if your friends can look at you as your trustworthy person, are you reliable? Those are the things that you can control. But don't compare yourself with anybody else, especially when it comes to money or something that you just don't have control over it. Last thing, and this is probably the most important thing, focus on the good, but understand the bad. Focus on all the good things that's going for you. Practice gratitude. Practice being grateful for even the smallest things. Practice being grateful for the fact that you can wake up, have an alarm clock to wake you up. Practice the fact that, gratitude in the sense of, like, I can wake up and brush my teeth and I can actually watch this video right now. The fact that you have access to YouTube to watch this video, that's empowering enough, because you have enough already. Be grateful for that and understand the bad. So let's just use a financial situation, for example. If you're not in the best financial, situation, understand it. Okay, why are we not in the best financial situation? Oh, okay, I'm with my mother, I'm with my father, and they're a single parent. You know what I mean? Or I'm with my mother and my father, and I have 4 siblings that they also have to feed, and they also have to shelter and clothe, and so it's like so much. But understand it, you know what I mean? Everything that's bad most of the time, 95% of the time, it's all temporary things. And it's like, once you understand it, you don't have to necessarily agree with it, but once you understand why those actions are being done, or why certain things are aligned the way they are, you will be in a much better place, because you're not going to be unhappy, but you're going to be understanding of why everything is the way it is. And then once that is something that's on your forefront, and you're being grateful, and you're practicing gratitude, and you're still saying thank you for even the smallest things, you out of there. Out of there.